that on the radio?
Who is that on the radio?
You really want to know who's on the radio? Come on. Let's talk about it.
Jeffrey. Let's talk about it live with Jeffrey L. Miller. Watching is the best decision you'll ever make. Thursday nights from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.
You know what time it is.
Call or text in live, 470-251-4647. Hashtag Let's Talk with Jeffrey. And come check us out on www.statusnetwork.net or download the Status Network app on your Apple or Google Play Store.
Let's give them something to talk about.
It's almost showtime, people.
Let's tune in to see what Jeffrey has in store for us tonight. And here's your host, Jeffrey L. Miller.
Every Thursday from 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. This is exactly how we do it. Man, we got a hot show for y'all tonight. It's going to be off the chain. We got the whole cast from before Black Lives Matter. How y'all doing today? Oh, man, it's about to be off the heezy fo sheezy up in here. Man, listen, today was a little warm outside. I had, good weather. Y'all had good weather? Okay, traffic was still off the chain in Atlanta. As always. But in spite of that, my mother loves me, my granddaughter loves me, my kids love me, and you know what time it is. It is time for you to close your mouth and listen. You ask me some questions, I give you some answers from a man's point of view. Now, I got one reason for the habitually single woman and one reason for the habitually single man as to why you might be single, but before we get into that, here is my disclaimer. Now, see, what I'm going to talk about might not apply to you, and if it doesn't apply to you, I don't want you to put your foot up in this shoe. But if it does apply to you, I want you to put both feet in both shoes and walk around in them because you're about to learn something tonight. Ladies, you go first. All right, ladies, some of y'all single simply because your intuition is uncalibrated. I need y'all to understand what I'm saying. You're born with female intuition, woman's intuition, right? Y'all need to have it tuned up. You don't know how to pick the right man no more. Here's how you know if your intuition is off. If you dated 4 different men and they've all treated you the same way, it's you. You are the common denominator. You don't know how to pick a good man. Quit looking on the outside and calibrate your intuition. Because a woman who walks in her fullness, who has her intuition calibrated, she don't get played but once. After that, she learns. She never loses. She always learns. So if you keep dating the same man and having the same results, it ain't all them men, it's you keeping your ass single. I wish I had my bell over here. I'll be ringing it. I'll be ringing my bell. Y'all know how I am about that bell. All right, fellas, we're going to start with you. How do y'all feel about why some women are habitually single when we came to what we just talked about? Speak right into the mic for me. Ah, there we go. I told y'all it's going to be one of them nights.
I gotta go first. All right, so I think some women are single because selfishness. It's just point blank period.
Selfishness.
Well, no, by selfish I mean that they're only concerned with themselves. They don't want to make sacrifice and compromise when it comes to significant other. Mm-hmm.
Well said. That was me ringing the bell. Ladies, what do you think? Where's your mic? Who has the mic on that side?
Are we talking about only women being habitually
Right now
single?
we're talking about women.
Okay. I'm just clarifying.
Yeah,
I just clarifying. I don't know.
Now, y'all know women ain't never lost for words. Y'all all of a sudden, they done got shot.
Well, I wanted to piggyback on what Rico said, that because I was saying the man as well, it could be the man. But since we're still talking about the ladies, sometimes I have to agree, sometimes there are some women are just career driven. So that can also affect them staying single because they want to give more to their career and not for a family. So it just depends on what their individual purpose in life is.
Okay, I love it.
I think some women take a lot of baggage into their relationship.
Big old bags.
From previous relationships, and they don't realize it.
Big old bags.
Yeah, like I mean, some of them have been like hurt by guys in the past, and then they take that with them, and then they take it out on the next guy.
Big old bags.
Yeah.
Big old bags.
Unfortunate.
Big old bags.
Sometimes I think unrealistic expectations limit people's ability because they have all of these expectations of the other person, even things that they're not willing to do themselves.
Big old bags. I love it. But fellas, don't think I'm letting y'all off the hook. Fellas, you are next. All right, fellas, some of you are single simply because you are a lazy dater. I need you to understand. Now, you don't even know the difference between dating and courtship. How you going to be a lazy dater and still not know what courtship is? First of all, you need to know how to plan a date. Netflix and chill is not a date. That comes after the date. Know where to take a woman to eat. 4 for 4 don't count. Fellas, you got to learn how to really, if it's a woman you're really interested in now, you got to learn how to date and pursue a woman. Y'all sitting back thinking Netflix is chill and chill is enough. Y'all sitting back thinking, let me go over here to this Applebee's 2 for $20, 2 for $25, 2 for $30. That ain't gonna cut it. That ain't gonna cut it. With women being as educated as they are, sophisticated as they are, and as intelligent as they are, you're gonna have to do more than that to capture their attention. But you ain't doing that. That's why your ass is single. Ladies, ladies, what y'all think about that one? Where's that? Who got the microphone over there, lady?
I have the mic. So
right ahead.
I will say that sounds pretty accurate about men can tend to be lazy as far as trying to court someone. Mm-hmm. So not all men, obviously, not all men are like that, but there are some that feel the same way. And I feel like there are some men also that bring baggage to a relationship as well. Okay. And little bags. Well, bags nevertheless. and still baggage. And they also bring unrealistic expectations. So if they've dated one female and they felt some type of way about her, and then they found another one and they like this about her, and then they find another one and they like this about her, and then they come to this other relationship and they're bringing all these other women into their favorite things about these women into this one woman. Now she's got to carry, okay, well, now I have to see, can I meet all of their expectations and his expectations and still remain myself? Fair enough. So I think that is something that can go both ways, though, also. Well said. Fellas, what do you think about the reason why some men are habitually single?
I feel some men may be single because they never probably had a father in their life to show them how to truly love and treat a woman.
I need a bell up in this piece right here. Ring this damn bell.
So in order for you to, to know what a woman wants or what she likes or what she's into, whatever, you need a man figure, some type of positive male role model. Unfortunately, a lot of black men, we don't have that father figure to show us how to treat a woman. Not all women want to lay down on their back or twerk, so you have to realize or figure out what type of woman you want and then seek that, and step outside of looking at just a fat ass. Women are more than just their bodies. And once men start, respecting women as they equal, then they might find somebody that's their equal.
I love it. Well said. Now, I do believe that men and women are not equal. Men and women balance. There are some things that men naturally do better than women, and some things women do naturally better than men. And it creates balance and harmony. Women, quit trying to be like men, all that masculine energy all up in you. We don't like all that. All right, now, before we get to the cast introductions, we move forward into the play. What I want to do is spotlight our HBCUs out here. That's something we always do on the show. It's called HBCU Excellence. Now, first of all, any HBCU alums up in the building? That's what we're talking about. We ain't gonna hold it against these folks right here. We ain't gonna hold it against them. Almost, but it wasn't founded as a historically black college or university. So y'all like little Boosie wearing the cap for the paraphernalia up in this camp. We ain't having it. We ain't having it. So what we're going to do, we're going to play this this clip that I have. This is Southern University. They are off the chain in this piece. This was at a battle of the bands. This is Crank Fest 2019. This is No Effing With It with I Don't Give a F. We'll come back and talk about it. Go ahead and roll clip. fifth quarter, halftime, none of that. And I want y'all to understand, the bell wanted to ring itself because I'm speaking truth up in this piece. But the bottom line of it is we love and support all of our HBCUs.
Yes.
And I wanted to share a little bit of positive news on the personal front with my alma mater. Morris Brown College just had almost a little bit over $4 million of debt forgiven by the African Methodist Episcopal Church. That helps to right the ship. Y'all just watch. I told y'all a while ago that the revolution will not be televised. And very soon, Morris Brown will be restored to glory. All right? Watch what I tell you. All right, I'd like to welcome my temporary co-host to the studio, Miss Temporary. Miss Tabitha Duncan, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Wonderful to be surrounded by black love.
Love it, love it, love it. Now she's being real modest. Tabitha is 1/3 of the world-renowned group, R&B group, Cut Close.
Yes.
Welcome, welcome.
They're probably a little young to know anything about Cut Close over here.
They know.
Our parents probably have.
Does
that mean I'm old enough to be one of y'all's mama?
No, we all the same, pretty much the same age group. But pretty much.
Well, no, you got a little gray over there, so
Hey, I'm wearing this gray too.
He is.
All right, so here we go. We're going to get started. First of all, let's get some introductions going on. Let's get some introductions of all the cast members of the play. We'll start right here on the end and work our way around in a U shape. Okay. All right? Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm Sylvia Pierce, and I'm playing the role of Danielle.
Danielle, okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, I am Candace Newsom, and I will be playing Christy.
All right, welcome to the show.
Hello, my name is Kristen Dickens, and I am playing Renee.
Welcome to the show.
So I'm Trey Floyd, and I wrote, directed, and produced the play.
Welcome back, Trey.
I'm Larry Carter. I'll be playing Jake in the play.
Jake, okay, welcome. Your husband. She done claimed him already.
I'm Rico Holland, and I'll be playing Noah in the play, which is Renee and Jake's son.
Okay. Welcome.
I'm Brian Dwayne, and I'll be playing Daniel in the play. I'm Danielle's son.
All right, welcome.
My name is Tyler Bay, and I'm an understudy for Noah and understudy for Ryan, and also playing a police officer.
Yes. Wait. You're understudy and you're playing the po-po.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Multifaceted. Very good.
He might be the most important.
That's
a 6 man.
Yes.
We're going to ring this bell in the show. Good deal. Welcome to the show. So, Brother Trey, tell us about the show. Or the play, rather.
It's before Black Lives Matter. It's a super important play that people from all walks of life can enjoy, whether male, female, black, white, green, yellow. It really talks about, from the title you can tell what it's kind of about, before Black Lives Matter. It talks about police brutality, and it also talks about the mental illness that comes with those people who have gone through something like that and their families, what they've gone through after the media goes away. So, after something like that happens, after an incident happens, the first week, 2 weeks, even up to a month, we see it all on the news, we hear about it. Then after that, nobody talks about it anymore, but those families are still going through. So it really talks about that, and it really gives some light into what we can do as a community before something like that.
Okay, good deal. Let me ask this question. This is for anyone in the cast. When you see the news and you hear about someone who's been shot by the police and you find out they're unarmed, what type of feelings come up when you see those newscasts and those types of things?
For me, it upsets me. It makes me very upset, and it's always someone who looks like me.
Right.
And it really irks me, not even just for me, but I have 3 nephews, which is some of the inspiration for the play, that are like 16, 17, 18. Okay. And I think about them who just do things as kids. You know what I'm saying? And thinking that like it's okay, like, we just riding, we just having fun, just really oblivious to how the world kind of works sometimes. And it's very unfortunate. So it's really upset.
Understood. Okay, ladies?
Yes, to piggyback off what he said, that's my basic feeling as well. It's upsetting, it's unsettling, because it makes you feel like it doesn't matter. You can be unarmed. You could be doing all the quote unquote right things that they want you to do, and still something tragic could happen. And so it's heartbreaking and it's unsettling, especially as mothers of black boys. That is the most scary part about it. But we have to believe that at some point, if we keep putting it out there, and I think that through this show we will do that, continue to put it out there so that it brings awareness to people, and so we can demystify the fact that we are people, and the greatest of everything is to show love towards someone. So show love and shoot later.
Show love and shoot later. I love that. That's serious though. Show love and shoot later. Okay, so let me ask you this question, and your character. Yes. Give me some more depth and insight. Did I pick right? I picked right. Okay, good deal. I'd like to hear more about your character.
Okay, Christy is a little different, and what I think Trey does so phenomenally in this show is that he depicts two types of black people. Okay, and he lets you know that all black people do not think the same.
We're not monolithic.
We're not monolithic. So you get to see variations of black people, and there are black people who believe in the movement, believe in the Black Matters movement, and there's black people who believe that these kids are actually doing something, that these kids are being belligerent, these kids are doing something crazy, these kids were in the wrong place. Where was their mama? It's your fault that your child died. And I think my character, Christy, kind of represents for that black community. She's very upper echelon. She comes from a different cloth. And I think that's what Trey does so phenomenally as a writer, is that you get to see these different types of these different perspectives and these different types of black people, and the voice that you might not hear that much from black people that are scared to say these things.
Black people scared of what?
There are some black people that are scared to say, well, hey, what was that kid doing? What you're seeing in the play is a conversation that takes place in a home where a woman feels safe to say that. So that's kind of the character.
Fair enough. Tabitha, I want to bring you into the conversation. Suspension of disbelief here. When you see this young lady speak about the role, how does it make you feel about the state of current events sometimes when it comes to black men and black women and how we're treated by law enforcement? Hold the mic right.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, there's so many different variables, I think, that can come out with how one is treated, and I don't know that we can really implicate parents as far as upbringing is concerned, because parents aren't the only teachers. There's so many things that we do go through in a household that we keep mum from our parents. And so we have kind of like two-fold lives that we're living. We have a life that we live inside of our home, and we have a life that we're living outside of our home.
Fair enough.
And even with that, there is a life that we all are living that's kind of like hiding from everybody, that we don't necessarily recognize and notice, and that's the life that we're living inside the world. So there's a lot of different variables that can, come to play with that, even when it comes down to the reaction of the police officer, how afraid a black person is being in that kind of situation, and the upbringing of the country, and the mental stability of whatever you're facing at the moment. So I understand to some extent what anybody would or could go through. I don't think that anything would surprise me. As far as what's being talked about, what's not being said, and what's left unsaid.
Okay.
Because it's so much deeper than just topical situations. And these things are topical situations because we see them. But there's always a root. And a lot of people don't get a chance to get to the root, and they put cortisone on top of it. And I say that because when you have a rash, when you have a rash, you use cortisone. But once it goes, the effect goes away for that moment, you got to redistribute the cortisone because the rash will be back. So you're not necessarily curing the underlying problem. You're just putting some kind of smooth situation on top of it just to make it okay for the moment.
Now, if you know, like I know, before there was cortisone, there was this pink lotion called calamine lotion back in the day.
They still have it.
It's on the bottom of the shelf now. You got to look for it now.
Yeah.
I'd like to get the perspective of the character of the son. How do you feel? And tell us more about your role and how you feel about what you see in the play.
Daniel pretty much is he's a well-grounded young man. He's socially aware, You know, he understands what's going on around him in society. He understands where he fit in society. One thing I like about Daniel is that Daniel doesn't necessarily fit the description. You know, his look doesn't match, you know, what goes on internally. And I think oftentimes society judge us. Me personally, being that I have a lot of tattoos, I'm judged often. So I can relate to Daniel. And I think Daniel kind of, he brings awareness to young men his age that, hey, you know, don't worry about what society thinks. Be you. You know, you can stand firm in your beliefs. You don't have to change for anybody as long as you stay true to yourself and you stand up for what you believe in. And that's what I like about Daniel. You know, I think there's a lot of brothers out there that can relate to Daniel.
Well said, well said. Brother Trey, let me ask you this question now. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. All right. Now, we all know that Ray and Pookie them ain't the best behaved children's out there anyway. So when law enforcement comes up, in some instances, in many instances, they don't know what's going on. So speak to the fact that maybe the child, the young man, young girl, actually did something wrong, and maybe in a situation where that level of force is necessary.
So I'm really glad you brought that up. So that is the purpose of why I wrote before Black Lives Matter, because I wanted to have those conversations with kids and people and men, women, everyone before something like that happens. Like, oftentimes our youth really don't know how to interact with police officers. Sometimes the encounter with a police officer is the first time that this police officer has encountered with those type of people.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so people feel what they don't know. So what I think that I'm doing, like kids, often I used to be a school teacher, so I see it all the time where kids just kind of walk, just kind of bobbing their head, just moving their hands all kinds of ways. And in their mind, it's fine. But in this police officer's mind, who is not used to seeing kids act like that, they think they're doing something crazy. So I think it's very important to be, that's what we talked about, being aware of your surroundings and aware of who you're interacting with.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Now, I'm going to call BS on that, quite honestly. I just took that position because I wanted to, talk about it. Here's how I really feel about it. We'll come right to you real quick.
Yeah, I feel like regardless of what children are doing or how they're behaving, death is not okay. You know, and no matter what they're doing, what they're wearing, how they're moving, there's white children who do the same thing that African American children do, and they go home to their families every single night. So therefore, our kids need to be kids and stop making our children's adults, because that's how people see our children, as adults, because of their black skin. So it's like, as I used to teach, I taught for 7 years, 3rd through 5th grade, and you can see it in how people respond to them. Punishments and everything are more harsh. I mean, you can look at the statistics and see that more African American children are suspended from schools. Why? Because their behavior seems to be so disrespectful, because they're treated as if they're adults, and that's not okay.
Well said. Now, getting further on that point, I remember seeing a video of some kids walking home carrying a basketball, and a police officer pulls up, draws his gun, and says, "Get on the ground." All these kids were under 13 years old. They started crying hysterically. I also remember seeing a report about the suspension rates and how there was a movement to get parity in the schools when it came to suspension. And people were fighting against that. I want you to really understand now. They were trying to get parity in the disciplinary rates of minorities and majority students, and they fought against that. Our children, too often, are criminalized, are demonized. Our young ladies are over-sexualized. A young black woman or girl expressing her hair or herself through her hair is usually frowned upon. Don't do that to your hair. Little white girl, and y'all call it what you want. Coloring her hair green, she's just expressing herself. Happens all the time now. Let's not play. I just took that position to bring up the topic. The reality is, for some reason, we're still having our bodies policed. We ain't doing that in 2020. All right, let's move forward. Y'all. You got me up here talking. I'm, sorry about that. All right, so I want to go a little deeper. Sylvia, let's talk about your character, please. Okay. Grab the microphone for me. Talk right to the mic.
Okay, my character, I'm playing the mother of Daniel. And I would say I'm that strong black woman who wants to do anything for her child, male or female, and to protect them from society, the bad side of society, and keep them safe.
Okay, anything to protect your child. All right, now, how many parents on the panel? 4 of them. Y'all ain't got no children?
Good. You don't need them yet. Look at everybody else for a second before you make
Okay, good deal. Let me borrow that mic real quick for Trey. All right, Tabitha, I want to bring you into this right
All
here.
right.
Now, you being a mother, deeper behind what Sylvia's talking about, that desire to want to make sure your children are taken care of. I met your children. They are bad as hell. Some of the bad. I'm playing. She has some of the most well-behaved, intelligent.
Yeah. Just look at my face.
Yeah, she does not play. She does not play. Like, her children come in, they're quiet, they sit down. You know, they're kids. They're going to do things that kids do, but all that rambunctious stuff, it does not happen. So that desire to make sure that your children have more, speak to that a little bit from a mother's perspective.
It depends on have more of what?
Well, have as much as you can give them from your parental standpoint now.
Well, you know.
Because you ain't going to give them just anything.
Well, no, but it depends on what the situation is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I give them my iPad if I need them to shut up while I do something. I'm like, you better. I got this doggone. I'm on this conference call.
She look like that for real, too.
Well, I mean, yeah. But my children, they obey when I look at them. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is that look, and they be like, it ain't no, if you don't, but of course, I'm a single mother, so I want what's best for my children in every way possible, in every way imaginable. So I have to teach them about the world and get them to understand people. I don't care who you come across, whether it be different races or creeds. I have to say creeds because there's only one race. We always say that it's the human race, and I have to teach them how to act when being approached by certain situations. And they go through things in school, and I have to try and figure out what to tell them. Either it's like, tell them do it again, kick them real good. You got to teach them a lot of things. So there's so many variables because my children are biracial for one. So I have to kind of delve into who they are because it's really important for children to know where they came from. And if they know, like I always say, the root, if they know their background, I have to be the living example for me to want the best kind of thing out of my children. And since they are young, beautiful princesses, I have to make sure that I pay attention to them enough so they can become these queens that I see in my brain. And so I have to tell them about society. I have to tell them about, obviously, sexual situations because, it's out there and they're only 10 and 8, and so I put them in situations or I teach them about things that, a lot of people probably would be like, oh, they're too young, man. If you don't do it, YouTube is going to do it.
The streets.
Your friends at school, you know what I'm saying? Because, my daughter came back and was like, someone told me to go to this website. I was like, this was in kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And so she was faced with a lot of things that she should not have seen. And so I have to be very, very cautious and smart in how I dictate life. And it can't be of what's fair.
Okay.
Because life is not fair.
It's not fair at all.
And even though we are talking about things that probably should change generally within the world, unfortunately, it's probably never going to be on our watch. So we have to do what we can do within our households to understand how to live while being black.
I love it.
Unfortunately, because it shouldn't be about that. But it is. And it's always a racial situation here in the United States of America. And understanding that, I just have to do everything that I possibly can. And, you try to implement religion, and religion sometimes is like, So you can't really involve that because it kind of contradicts the way that you move. So since I want them to be the best that they can be, I'm still learning myself. You know what I'm saying? So I tend to, I don't want to monetarily put them in a state of subjection to think that this is how easy it comes and you can have anything that you want. I want them to be very respectful in how things are done and made.
Sure.
And so more than anything, I have to teach them that no matter what someone else does, you always have to take the most noble part that you possibly can to avoid certain situations that you would not want to be in, you don't want your mommy to be in.
Understood. Well said, well said. Now, we have a brief clip of the play. promo of the play. I believe you sent me a clip. We'll it's like 16 seconds. That wasn't no promo. It's like a. We are gonna act it out, but we gonna set it up first. I'm gonna give y'all a little breather. We're gonna do this little 16-second clip, and then we're gonna play this. We're actually gonna have a live performance in studio shortly after that. What scene are we gonna be seeing?
We're actually gonna start with the opening scene. So the play actually opens up. There's this. You hear this audio. We're not gonna play the audio, but you hear about this kid just got shot.
Okay.
It's a 17-year-old kid who was just shot by police in a fictitious town called South Bend.
South Bend
is where Danielle raises her son Daniel.
In Indiana?
I was going to say
It is, but in the place fictitious.
Okay. That's a real city.
Just from there.
Okay.
You know what South Bend is.
It's South Bend, Georgia.
South Bend, Georgia.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And so the play opens in the fictitious town of South Bend, Georgia, which is considered to be the hood on the south side of town.
Okay.
Where Danielle raises her son Daniel.
Okay, good deal. So we're going to play this promo real quick. We'll come right into the back, and then we'll go through the first scene of the play before Black Lives Matter. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
All right, so the opening scene of the play actually opens. There's a riot going on. A 17-year-old just got shot by a police officer. The 17-year-old was Daniel's friend, and he's out. There's a protest going on in the street, and his mom, Danielle, comes to pull him out of the protest. So 2 shots just got fired, and we hear Daniel's voice.
Seriously, Mom? Yes, seriously. Do you want to get yourself thrown in jail or worse, killed?
So what we do, Mama? We do nothing?
We get up out of these streets, that's what.
So we go home and do what?
Listen, Daniel, you are my son, and it's my responsibility to keep you safe.
Mama, how you gonna keep me safe? Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Mike Brown. I mean, I can go on all day. I can go home, but I cannot sit in that house forever. I should be able to walk down the street without the fear of getting shot by the police.
So you want to march in these streets, huh? You want to parade up and down these streets. Well, what would that do? The whole neighborhood is up in arms because another black boy got killed. They'll march for a little while, and then you know what? The neighborhood will just be burned down. Folks out here looting, and the police just looking for another black boy to put in jail. While that white cop goes home with his family, and that boy's mama got to bury his son. So no, you will not be out here protesting in them streets.
But Mama!
Boy, if you butt mama me one more time.
It's not fair. Chris is my friend. We gotta do something. We just can't sit back and let this shit, this stuff keep happening. Mama, that could have been me. What if that was me?
I know, baby. I know. But listen, I know you're not going to understand what I got to tell you, and you're going to be upset.
What are you talking about now, Mom?
You know your Auntie Renee? I talked to her the other day, and I want you to go stay with her for a while.
No!
Daniel, listen to me.
No, Mama.
Daniel,
No.
listen to me.
I don't want to go over there with those white folks on that side of town. No!
Listen to me. I've been working all these late hours, trying to make sure you're okay, and the neighborhood just isn't safe anymore.
Okay, Mom, I can get a job. Just don't send me
No,
away.
you will not get a job. You're going to go to school on the north side, get that scholarship like we said, and go to college.
But you just said the neighborhood have changed. No, Mom, I'm not going.
Daniel, please listen to me. I know the neighborhood is not what it used to be. I grew up here. But I can't fathom coming home seeing my baby out in the street.
Mama, no, I'm not going.
Daniel, please listen. Do it for me, baby. Do it for me.
But when would I see you, Mama?
You will see me. And when you get in that new school, you ain't gonna even be thinking about me.
That new school, those white kids over there, you know what? I'm gonna bring home a white girl, that's what I'm gonna do.
Boy, don't you play. You know the rule. If she can't use your account,
don't bring her home.
Bring her home. That's right. I love you, baby.
All right, Mom, I'll go.
Thank you. Now come on here. You gonna go, and guess what? I'm gonna say a little prayer for you.
Love you too, Mom.
And sing.
All right. Love it. That was really good.
Okay, Mama.
That was really good. That was really good. That was really good.
She was a mama?
Yeah. That was Mama in real life.
You make
Mama
me
in
believe
real
it was
life.
your mama.
No. Man,
I would have been like
listen.
that too.
You going to school?
That's right. That's right.
You going to March Brown College?
That's right.
We went to college together. I'm like, dang, Mama, I'm moving. Dang. Excellent. Look at you. Excellent. I love it. Okay. I love it. You know what? I'll tell you one thing now. That was powerful. Now, there was in Baltimore, there was a riot, and the mother went and grabbed her son. And, she was smacking him in the face and all this other stuff. Okay, I want to talk about that now, because the conversation between the two of you is much different than what we saw. So, first of all, from a mother standpoint, talk more about the emotions of trying to get your son to safety.
Okay, when
Grab the microphone. Yes.
I too have a son, and he's 15, his first year in high school. So when Trey asked me to audition for this, I felt a need, and I've always wanted to be a part of some type of Black Lives Matter movement, march, or anything, because it's just such an important piece in America today. So with Daniel, I just get very emotional, because I'm like, it could be my actual own son. I also have nephews. So it holds a special place in my heart to make sure that this story is told and that people understand from all colors, just not white and black. Right. But let's just think about the Asian people as well. Anybody who is being, I would say, targeted. Yes, targeted. That's the word. For any type of criminal violence from the police. So. Well
said. Let's hear from the son's perspective, because now, don't get it twisted. From a man's perspective, I understand exactly why he was out there. When we were in college, remember the Rodney King verdict came down. I ain't even gonna front. I sure was out there.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I was. I sure was. I'll be out there again. Now, I had to stretch a little bit, but I'll be out there again if the foolishness happened again. So from a young man's perspective, tell us how you felt when that situation was up and your mother's trying to pull you back. How'd you feel?
It was one of those situations where you feel like you're kind of stuck between doing something, a passion, but you is going back to, man, I don't want to hurt my mom. Like I understand her pain, because I'm out here for the same reason. So, it's almost like I have to put my passion to the side for the greater good of the love of, and for my mom. And I think back to my mom growing up. It was 6 of us in the house. She was a single parent, and my mama was straight thorough. Similar, to you. She was straight thorough. She just kept it 100, but she kept it real with us. And I know my mom worked too hard, for us to go out there to do something stupid. So it was like, just reverting back to my childhood. Damn, I don't want to hurt my mom. Like, okay, I'm out here doing a job, but what's going on is kind of bigger than what I want right now, So it's kind of a very difficult place to be in as a young man. You growing up, a lot of this stuff is going on. You lost one of your best friends, and then you have to go home and do nothing. You feel worthless. You know, man. I don't think no man wants to feel. Men don't like feeling worthless. You know, so it's almost like you're dealing with yourself, but you got to make sure your home is good too. You know, so yeah.
Pass it to Mike.
That's a really great point, and I love how you keep coming back to I don't want to hurt my mom, like that's my mom, and it's a really interesting thing about this show and what makes like a lot of the writing so great is that there's the overarching Black Lives Matter thing happening that won't be done anytime soon, but that's over residing, and then there's our personal family connections and relationships that we also need to heal. And there's an amazing scene between these two where I'll pass the mic in a second, but it's an amazing scene.
I mean, you're talking about it now, so go ahead and talk about it.
I know. I won't.
Well, we want to know now.
I know. It's not my scene.
Come to the show.
Come to the show. Yeah. Come to the show.
Damn it.
You ain't gonna explain it.
Yeah. But and that scene really gets us into the mental health aspect of it. So Trey has set it up to where it's Black Lives Matter, and then we have to deal with our families, and then it's okay. Well, what about me? And it's a really beautiful thing to watch how they all happen at the same time. It's not just okay, Black Lives Matter, let's go, and then let me go to therapy. The next year, no, it all happens all together.
Okay.
And it's really nice to see that.
Fair enough. Now, I want to talk about something real quick because you kind of touched on it. I want to talk about trauma, the ingrained trauma in our communities. And Tabitha, I'll start with you, but I actually want everybody to touch on this a little bit. What can we do when we're faced with so much more trauma on a daily basis and the historical trauma that's really in our DNA? What do we do to get better? Tabitha.
First, learn who you are, because you can't fix something you don't know about.
Fair enough.
So, and like I said, learning is not just your family. You know, there's a lot of generational curses that are taking place inside of the Black culture itself. And I think that it's so deeply rooted where a lot of people kind of like put a rug over it and act like it doesn't exist, and they try to start from in the middle.
Okay.
And you can't necessarily start in the middle. No one's going to put you in the middle. Either you start at the beginning or you don't start.
Okay.
And so since this is a situation that has started a long time ago, we have to just really innately just be in a position where we understand what we have to do as individuals to be an example for one another. And if I can take or be a helpmate to a sister, you know, because I can relate to sisters a lot more because that's what I am, and show them who and how to help them to be better and try and fix the questions that they have within themselves. My bad. You know, fix the questions that they have within themselves. You know, I think communicating and understanding ourselves would allow us to get there, but understanding also that it's not just me and you. It's us.
Well
so
said.
we cannot take ourselves out individually and make it an individual thing, because it is not. We are all here together. Everything that affects everybody affects everybody. There's no way that you can take tomato paste and take tomato out of it without it being the tomato paste. So you can't remove an ingredient.
Right.
So we can't remove ourselves. So we have to innately be able to figure out who we are as individuals, and that's just sharing spiritually, so we can get to that root and connection of who we are. And I think the respect that we have with one another is a wonderful place to start.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. Actually, let's pass it right to here, and then we'll work our way around. As far as addressing the traumas that we deal with, current and historically, what would you say we need to do?
I would say we need to talk about it.
Okay.
I feel like whether you're going to therapy, talk to a family or a friend or someone you trust or love, just talking about it, like, because when we hold stuff in, I feel like it makes the situation worse. It's hard to deal with. So when you talk about it with someone, it can help. In fellowship, you know, I feel like that's very important to just, you know, get out and let someone hear your problem, because someone may be going through the same thing or something similar, and when you communicate that, then you find ways to deal with it, better cope with it. Yeah.
All right. Well said. Yes, sir.
I think vulnerability is at the heart of a lot of the issues that we face, like being vulnerable not just with others but with yourself. I was listening to NPR and Bayard Rustin, one of his speeches from 1987, when he was talking about some of the injustices he was working towards, and he said, I had to be honest with who I was, because if I wasn't, then I'm a part of the monster that's trying to destroy me. You know, so not, like you said, not taking yourself out, not distancing yourself, because that's a part in the play where it's like, oh, well, we've made it, so we're not a part of that, but we are. And when we do make it, we need to reach back and do the work and help those and teach those and share information, because information is really helpful, like sharing therapy. A lot of people are ashamed of that. That's work on yourself and making yourself better, you know, having more open dialogue about that. And of course, it takes vulnerability to get there, but I think it's a pivotal piece of healing.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And I would say, and I want to interject really quick, exercise compassion. If you exercise compassion, there's a lot of things that'll just fall in line. It's almost like working out. You know, I always got to put some working out in it.
Killing me.
If you work out, and you understand what it takes in order to see the results, it may take a little while, but it's on the way. And it will show you what you're doing, and it'll show you what you're not doing. So if you want to cheat, it's going to show up. You know, what don't show up in the wash is going to show up in the rinse. So if you ever want to be in a position where you want to figure out how to deal with something, just equivalent it to working out. Because if you don't keep up on working out and you stop, then you'll see your muscles start to going back into where it was. It'll start to, you know, be a little flabby. It's not, you know, so firm, you know. So that's really about exercising your rights and capabilities to know who you are and trying to find out life.
Well said. Brother Trey.
I completely agree with what everyone has said. I think it's very important to know who you are and not be afraid of therapy and not being afraid of talking to people about it. Like you said, being vulnerable, just having a good group of friends surrounding you who do have your best interests at heart and who will listen to what you have to say and give you sound advice rather than just trying to make you feel better. Sometimes it's maybe things you don't want to hear, but it's just your best interest. I think, like, culturally, we historically don't like to talk about a lot of things. We think if we sweep it on the rug, suddenly it didn't happen. It's important to talk about those things because whether you talk about it or not, they did happen. And without talking about them and dealing with them, it continues to cause that problem that can go down.
Yes, I feel the same way. I agree with everyone, and how it's important to know who you are. And in any time that you feel like you can't quite figure out what that is, there's always someone that you can talk to and go to for help and encouragement. And that's something what she was saying as far as exercising compassion. When you show that towards other people, they are more willing to show that towards you as well. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable, and that's a scary place to be in. You know, that's scary. We are black people. We are strong black people. We don't get vulnerable, but there's a time and a place for everything, and sometimes we need to be in order for healing to happen. Sometimes you have to cut away all the dead stuff so that it can heal properly. And so it's not always going to feel good, it's not always going to look good, but at the end of the day, when you know that you're trying to heal, you have to take care of yourself. And be it going to therapy, going to meetings, just meditating with yourself. If you know yourself and you can go and meditate and find yourself, that's wonderful. But that's definitely something that we should not as a people be afraid of, because, you know, therapy is like a taboo thing. But it's definitely something that I think is important for us as far as healing. If we're going to heal, we have to do it. So.
Well said.
One more thing. You know, I'm going to, you know.
Y'all keep that mic over there. You know, let her hold this mic. Pass that one. Well, you got it.
Well, she was saying, you know, healing yourself, right? I love analogies. You know, I give them all the time.
You killing me. Okay.
You don't want me to give no analogy to that, do you?
You killing
when she was saying you have to heal yourself, you know, just think of it as being a scab. If you keep picking that scab, it's not going to properly heal. So whatever it is that, you know, you are feeling that made you feel that, you got to nurture it and take care of it properly in order for it to heal correctly. And there's ways to do it. And there's ways not to do it, and it will show you. What don't show up in the wash will always show up in the rinse.
And I just want to add to that. Sometimes I think therapy. If people's like, "Oh, you need therapy," but therapy is very expensive. Okay, and let me just put that out there because it is. And so, yeah, it does depend on your insurance. I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you have insurance, okay, when it's your turn. Okay. But if you are not in a place where your situation might be that you're not working, but you need therapy. So what I just want to say is that the church let's not negate that the church does have a spiritual center where you can talk to people. So if you are not in a place financially where you can get help, church groups, my church, Word of Faith, I love them. I mean, they have group sessions. Shout out to my group. We have an entrepreneur group, and I love them. And we do. It's a section. It's a section for Word of Faith, and our small group really does a really good job. And it's a group of people where we're all going through the same thing, and we get together twice a month to talk about it. And this is something that I don't have to pay for. So I just want to put out there that sometimes if you can't afford it or you don't want to pay for therapy, those are some things you can do as well.
Excellent.
Great, Candace, because I was going to say that. I was like, when is somebody's going to say about the church? Don't forget about prayer. You know, black people, we are a praying. We just naturally prayers. That's what Harriet Tubman did back then. But they prayed. That's how she got the slaves. But anyway, the mama prayed. But what I wanted to say, but what I wanted to say, I was happy that Jeff brought up trauma because I just recently had a training at my school when we came back for the teachers. With our behavior therapists, we have one at our school, and she talked about trauma. Most trauma happens on Mondays. I don't know if anybody knew that, but and she gave us some exercises, some meditations. So like Candace is saying, if you can't afford to go to a therapist regularly, but you can meditate. Go on YouTube and find conference calls, and also your meditation can be in your own prayer room, because a part of my spiritual daily walk, I get up in the morning at 5, I exercise, but before I do that, I make sure I read a verse from the Bible, I light a candle. I do things for yourself. So whenever you experience trauma, you have to reflect. It has to become a reflection piece too. You can keep a journal and write about your trauma, and just walk through each day and do something differently to try to help yourself heal. So there are a lot of options and things out there other than just therapy.
Well said. Now the part we all have to be careful of is replacing the trauma, pacifying the trauma with another form of self-abuse. Like drinking, or drugs, or sexual, and all that stuff. Now, even though people say that alcohol is spirits, drinking it doesn't make you spiritual. If you drink too much of it, it makes you an alcoholic.
Wrong kind of spirit now.
Thank you, wrong kind of spirit. But I want to get to something because I heard the word compassion and love and things like that. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. How many years do we have to go through the same stuff from the same people? We can take today's headlines and push them back 50 years, and they will be exactly the same. We can go back 60 years and take those headlines and bring them forward. They'll be exactly the same. It's systemic. Every other community has received some type of help, compensation, free land, whole free land, things like that to help them build their base, except for us. Our farmers were robbed of millions of acres of land through unfair banking practices, through discrimination, through being sold bad seeds. That wasn't years ago. That wasn't centuries ago. That was a few years ago. Being sold bad seeds so they wouldn't have a good crop, so they could foreclose on the property. So I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. We can love and be compassionate all we want to. There has to be a wholesale change in this country regarding the way that we are regarded and the way we are treated. Now, I hear people say all the time, if you work hard, you lift yourself up by your own bootstraps, you'll be successful.
If you ain't got no bootstraps.
Martin Luther King Jr. said, saying that to a black man is like saying it to a man who has no boots. Okay, and we coming for our check. That wasn't Malcolm X, that was Martin Luther King, because everybody else got a check. Everybody else got some land. Everybody else got something. We were promised the 40 acres and a mule. That wasn't a lie, that was true. But after Lincoln was assassinated, guess what? They repealed that. The president immediately after Lincoln said, no, we ain't giving y'all nothing. That bank we were setting up for y'all, no, we ain't doing that. And we were still doing fine by ourselves. And then they started coming into our communities, burning them down, stealing the land. Not even just Tulsa, Rosewood, all over this country. So I love the fact that we are forgiving. And I think the thing that scares them the most is if we finally say to ourselves, you know what? We're going to treat y'all like y'all been treating us. Then there'll be some serious repercussions in this country. Now, I'm not wishing that on anybody. I'm just saying, think about how America has been treating us. Woe and betide he who stands in our way if we decide to treat you the way you treated us. All right, now before y'all call me Malcolm Miller, just know I don't play that. Run up on me if you want to. All right, let me ask you this. How you looking on time? I know you were short time.
My babies is waiting for me, but you know.
Okay. You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was going to interject
Grab the microphone.
I was going to interject on what he had to say.
That's why I came over here, because I know she had 2 cents to throw into it.
You know, there's only so much that we can do. We know that. Faced with whatever it is that we've been given. We know that we are on the bottom of the totem pole. We know that we have to still rise, even in the face of adversity, to the point where some people just can't even imagine what we have to go. But the only thing that I would say, we have to learn how to come together. It's not going to do anything if we don't show that amongst ourselves first. In order for someone to even believe us, or even believe the anger that we have about it, we have to have enough of us to be on the same accord, so we can be a might that can be mightier than Zeus, you know. So that's what's hard. It's not really hard seeing the vision, it's achieving it. And in order to do that, we really have to reach down, because we as a people know that we have been in a position where we have come up from the dust like a phoenix bird, you know, from everything that has been. But to know that about us, and to know the strength that has to, you know, exude from us for us to keep moving, know that we have the power to do it. But to know that we have the power to do it, we have to show it. If we're not showing it, then no one's going to allow us to get what we're talking or what we're preaching. We will not be strong enough to mount up like Voltron. So if we want to be together,
she got kids right here. She remember Voltron.
They don't know about Voltron.
Yeah, that's
though,
back in the day.
Back in the day, for real. But if we don't understand that within our communities and within our families, and to know, like I said, where we came from, and understanding our positions in this life that we hold, if we don't show that sensibility for ourselves, no one's going to hear us. No one's going to listen to us. We can be talking to a dead tree. That tree is still going to stay there without leaves moving if we don't move. And one way of realizing and understanding that is go into our communities and see what you see.
So now I want to jump in. We're going to do another scene from the play in just a moment. But before we transition into that, I want to remind everybody, and a seed is already formed with the tree in it. All you have to do is plant that seed. Everything the tree needs to be successful is already on the inside. If you look at our economic power, it's already there. Look at our educational status, it's already there. You look at the number of men who will show up at a reading fair that gets a request. They say they only wanted 60. They got like 600 people. When you see things like that happening, when you see the alphas in Chicago marching to protest gun violence, and then you see Sean Hannity the next day saying, where are the people in the community at? Deliberately not spotlighting those types of things. You have to recognize that we're looking to the wrong people for approval. Everything we need is already in us. It's always been there. That tree gonna be mighty whether you look at it or not. You actually have to bring some type of external force to harm that tree. Or it has to be a hurricane to uproot that tree. Our roots are already that deep. We haven't just been looking at the power on the inside of us. We've been looking for acknowledgement. affirmation from the outside of our community. So to your point, when we look to the inside, we bring our stuff together, we are powerful. That's why they have men and women at odds. Because as long as we're arguing,
we can't do it.
We ain't cooperating.
Can't do it.
But the minute we start cooperating, where our kids, they get fed that balance. And they grow up knowing what a strong father looks like. You mentioned that point. They know how a strong man treats a strong woman. And they carry that message forth to their children. It becomes generational. But now, we're at a generation of young men who hadn't seen it. All right, so I don't want to get too deep on that. I want to get back into this play. You good? You ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
We do another show together. Yeah, pass him that mic for me. We do another show together on Wednesdays, so we have these debates like this all the time.
Okay, I just want to say, to piggyback off of everything, what everybody said was true. When we look at 400 plus years, it's like black people, we are still feeling the effects of slavery. 400 plus years later, we're still feeling the effects. We're still having these kumbaya conversations with our children. This has been going on for too long now. And I kind of feel like, when you look back in the days when our parents, grandparents was coming up, their fathers was having this conversation. When you walk down the street, make sure you look something, Mr. Such and Such in the face. And it's like we're still having these conversations. Now, the dialogue has kind of changed. Now we're telling our children, to make sure you know how to act when you walk, when you step out into public. This is a trauma to me, because to me it's like no other race of people is having these discussions with their children. It seems like it's only us. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and the piggyback, Miss Sylvia, praying is good. But if we ain't putting action in, that prayer ain't going nowhere. So we have to realize, like what you said, we have the money and the revenue. We are the biggest consumers in this country. We have the money and the power to fix and correct this, but we have to come together collectively. And we're dealing with the internal war amongst ourselves now, that we're so envious. Like we're so envious. We don't stick together the way we used to. When we had property, when our communities was together, we stuck together. We kind of lost that. Something happened over the years. We need to get back to that and put more work in, and I kind of feel like we need to get back to working together as a community, because that's the only way this is going to be fixed. We're going to have to do this together, because there's only so many of us sitting in this room talking about this.
Yeah, and just to talk about, I'm with you 100%, and I think one of the biggest things that happened in the black community that hurt us the most was when we decided to integration. Integration that destroyed the black economic community. And even today, and I used to be a teacher, I would why don't we buy from each other? Why don't we support each other's businesses? Because like you said, we spend the most money, period. We got it. On the most
we spend
and
it
it's
so stupidly.
Yes, and it's on, and we believe in a lot of these, right. We believe in buying, these European brands and things like that. When if we bought in our own community, we could do it, and we see. I mean, I have to bring up Tyler Perry, but I mean, you can see what you do if you make his people buy from him. His people, who's going to see Tyler Perry? It's his people, and you see the effects of what that can do. So if we support each other, we can. No, he didn't give us 40 acres and a mule. But if we support each other and we stand by each other, we don't need him. We don't need the white man to help us. We can do it ourselves. And that's what I believe.
Well said. Now, I got a clip, and we'll come back to you in just a second. I got a clip because this could go on, and we're going to blink, and we'll be done. We'll be done. So I have this clip on black excellence. We're going to play this clip in just a moment. But let's go ahead and get your comment before that clip is up. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I'm listening. And I like how you play devil's advocate, so I'm thinking about that. I wonder if it's not that we're not already together. I feel I'm only 18, so my experience is very different. But I think we'll never be as together as we would like to be, and I think that just shows how, like someone said it, we're not a monolith. We don't all think the same. Sure. You said prayer. I know many black people who don't believe in God and don't believe in prayer, and that's a testament to our diversity, and I think that makes us strong. But I think this idea that we're not together yet. Oh, we need to be together. This is happening because we're not together. I think it's gonna go on for forever because what I see a lot of us already buying from our own communities. I see, like you said, you brought up the entertainment industry. Black Panther broke many records.
It did.
And
that movie was about me, by the way.
And so I just wanted
part
to.
Of the movie I don't agree with, but you know.
You don't agree with the movie?
Well, I like the movie.
We're gonna talk about that later on, because that ain't nobody gonna talk bad about my autobiography up in this piece. No, my own show.
It's not bad. It's just is what it is.
I know it. I'm just messing.
It's all true.
And so, if we steer our focus and if we make it so, if we're so critical on ourselves that it's our fault, then we're limiting how far we can progress.
Well said. Well,
no, that's called accountability. If you don't understand that it is your fault, then you won't be held accountable for anything, which means you can never get from point A to point B.
Keep doing it again.
You'll for every time you turn around, you be turning around.
Okay, and I'm gonna jump on that. Then we gonna play this clip. Then we gonna do scene 2. Now, I need everybody to understand, the law of nature means that everything unencumbered will change. If you leave a seed alone and it has enough sustenance, it will grow into a tree or whatever plant it's supposed to on its own. No outside stimuli is needed. So if left to our own devices, I'll submit to you that we would be much further along than we are as a community. But we got somebody stealing fertilizer from us, digging our seeds up and putting them on the sidewalk and letting them burn up in the sun, doing all types of things to counteract what will happen naturally, and that's growth and progression. So if we're having the same issues for the past 100 years, we can go back 100 years and see that a young black man was falsely accused of a crime and lynched by a mob, and we still have the same thing with a young man going down the street in Chicago getting shot in a hail of bullets. I won't call it a mob. I'll say by a bunch of law enforcement officers. Then you have to recognize, you don't have to, you ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to submit to you, though, that somebody's digging up our seed. And if you keep digging up a seed, that seed is going to be traumatized. But if you bury it and leave it alone, it will emerge into its own greatness by itself. All I'm saying is just leave us alone. You leave us alone, we'll be all right. Keep on messing with us. Anyway, we're going to play this clip. I don't know why y'all got me going down this road. I got my Black Panther cap. This clip right here is called Black Excellence. I like things that I see that I think just are really, really amazing, whether it's a young black male or, so on and so forth. But this is a nice dance scene. We're going to play this clip, and then we'll have you set up the second scene from the play. Or roll that clip.
All right, so this next scene is going to take place. This is the character Jake, and you've seen Danielle already. So in the first scene that we saw that Danielle's mom wanted her to go and stay with her sister and her brother-in-law. So this is her brother-in-law, and this is her son. Her son just snuck out of the house to go to a Black Lives Matter rally because earlier in the play, a 17-year-old was shot. So he snuck out of the house and went to a rally. And the uncle wants to have a conversation with him to let him know that to make sure that you know what you're doing, because sometimes you fight for a cause and not necessarily know really what the cause is. So both of them have very strong opinions about what they're doing, and so I'm just let them act it out, and then we'll talk about it.
Sit down, Daniel.
Uncle Jake, you can spare me the lecture, okay?
Sit down.
Uncle, I got somewhere to be, okay?
Daniel, I said sit down.
Oh God, man, you just don't get it, man. You left South Bend.
Because I don't show up at a rally every time a kid is shot doesn't mean I don't get it.
So you just want us to move on like nothing ever happened?
No, I want you to do something that matters.
This does matter.
Look, looting and rioting and running the streets, stealing and cursing at cops, getting a record will not fix anything.
You don't understand this, Uncle Jake. You got your degree. You left South Bend and suddenly none of this is your problem no more? You know, I'm out there making a difference. I'm out there marching for my people the same way Dr. King did. Was it such an issue when Dr. King was out there marching so you can live in this uppity-ass neighborhood with a fancy job?
Watch your mouth. First of all, when Dr. King was out there marching, he was organized.
We are organized.
Are you? Because all I see is kids set up to fail.
How you figure?
Listen, like Dr. King marched and he was beat and he did not let his emotions get the best of you. But you kids, I see you venting your frustrations and I totally get it, but you cannot agitate and aggravate the police.
We ain't aggravating nobody, but you know what? You ain't Uncle Jake, you Uncle Tom.
Oh, okay. I see. The problem with your generation is you don't listen. You don't listen. And then anytime somebody tries to give you any type of feedback, you want to label them a racist or an Uncle Tom.
Well, maybe it's not just the label.
You know what? I don't have to prove anything to you. What you fail to realize is you guys are successfully silencing your own voices. Do you realize political figures bank on you acting the way you do? Do you realize that Dr. King didn't just march, but he fought for the right to vote? Are you even registered to vote?
Registered to vote for what? You know, okay, Uncle, I hear you. So until we just get it together, we should sit back and let them continue killing black men that look like you and I. Is that what you're saying?
No, that is not what I'm saying.
But that's what it sounds like you're saying.
Why are you so angry?
I'm not angry.
Then why are you yelling?
Because he was only 17. He was only 17, man.
I know, Daniel. I know.
It's not okay, man.
And sing. So as you can see, it gets very powerful. That shows that strong young person who is very passionate about what they're doing, and then it shows also a different side of an adult person who is still passionate about it, but they just see it as maybe you aren't going about it the right. They going about it. They're fighting different ways, and they aren't necessarily for the same thing. I think they both want the same result, but they're just going about it in different ways and haven't yet found a way to come together within it. And to give a little back point too, so this is his uncle that he doesn't always see eye to eye with. That's his mom. This is his mom. That's his mom's sister, and that's his mom's sister husband.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, we didn't do a scene with Noah, but I want to talk about the character of Noah. Rico, raise your hand. That's Noah. Okay. Noah is Jake and Renee's son, and they raised him on the north side of town, which is the opposite of South Bend. And Noah knows he's black, but doesn't know he's black in a sense.
I get it.
Or he was raised a certain way, so he doesn't. So he and Daniel are very different. And so when Daniel comes to move in with them, they get along great as cousins, but they're very aware of different. Their awareness is very different.
Okay, I get it. Good
Daniel
deal.
is street smart, and Noah is very book smart.
Right. Okay. I love it. Now don't get it twisted. There's some thugs in the Glee Club. Run up on it if you want to. Check your chin. All right. So now I'm seeing so much depth and gravitas to the play. Each one of you are just amazing. I want to know outside of the play, what else is it that you do? You know, what are your other talents? So we'll start right here with Sylvia. You got to pass that mic around, and then we'll make ourselves a you. All right.
Okay, well, other than acting, I do sing as well. And Monday through Friday until Tyler Perry or Will Packer comes to get me, I am a school business manager at Continental College Elementary School on the southwest side of town by Greenbrier.
All right, love it, love it. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I am a children's theater owner. I own Candy News Children's Theater at Candy News Productions on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're looking to get your child into the arts, into film, television, theater, I am the person that you come to. We have a full-fledged theater. We come out to schools, so we have after-school enrichment programs. I have programs at recreational centers. I also do coaching one-on-one to get your child an IMDb page, Actors Access, all of those things to get your child ready for the arts, theater, and entertainment. That is my business, and that's Candy News Children's Theater at Candy News Productions. That's what I do. And until Trey blows up and becomes the next Trey phenomenon, then that is what I am doing. But Tyler Perry and Will Packer, if y'all call me, I'll come too.
I love it.
No, I won't say no.
I love it. I love it. Yes, ma'am.
So I work in education. That's another passion of mine is educating young minds, and so being able to be a part of theater has always been a passion of mine, and being a part of this play and being a part of Trey Floyd Productions has been such a blessing to me that I didn't even know was something that would be attainable to me. It was something that I always thought about and kind of dreamt about, but the fact that he allowed me to be a part of this wonderful piece and the other pieces that I've been in, I'm so grateful because I still feel like this is a part of education. I still feel that we are getting a message out and we are teaching people, look, this is how we are. This is how you get to treat us. And so I think it's important. So anyway, I work in education and I work for the wonderful Trey Floyd Productions.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, there you go.
Outside of acting, I sing as well. So I got a project out, Mr. Carter. It's on iTunes, Google Play, everywhere you buy music.
Say it one more time. What is it?
Mr. Carter.
Okay.
Yeah, by Philly, Phylle. That's my Twitter, Instagram, everything. Philly World, Phylleword. I also consult and build partnerships, work with businesses to build businesses and kind of grow businesses in different ways.
Good deal. Excellent.
Outside of acting, just like Sylvia and Larry, I sing as well. I'm a member of Higher Standards Fellowship, the praise team at Fellowship of Love Church in Fayetteville. And my other passion is I'm an educator. I teach second grade in Clayton County, and I enjoy that very much.
Good deal. Good deal.
Outside of acting, I hang out with the Kardashians and I pretty much work for a construction company, and I do like and enjoy painting. So if anyone needs something painted, hit me up.
Good deal. Yes, sir.
So I'm in high school right now.
Oh my God!
That's what I do.
I do a lot of writing. I write for Vox ATL. It's a teen-led subsection of Vox. You can find us at that voxatl.org, and I do that. I have my own nonprofit where similar to everyone, I try to give back by teaching what I know as much as I know, and to kids in my neighborhood and my community to try to strengthen the arts and to try to put in what I couldn't have when I was their age. And so, yes, that.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, before we get to Mr. Trey
Fun
Floyd.
fact, too.
Fun
I used
fact.
to teach, and I was his teacher.
Hilarious. Hilarious. That is crazy. That is crazy. Good deal. Good deal. Now, Brother Trey, give us a little bit of background, first of all, on how you got into writing, and then you actually got into creating and directing plays.
So I was always writing and doing things as a child. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. You tell me if I can do it. Pretty much. Ask me to do it, I can do it. Like, I mean, yeah. Most of these people know me outside of the play world, so they know, like, oh, you're trained for that. So I pretty much do this. But when it got, I guess, my training, I guess, came from college. I was a theater minor in college. It would have been my major, but my parents didn't have a whole lot of money, and I wanted to have a job when I graduated. So I majored in accounting. So, but then it's kind of like one of those things that was a passion, so I always kind of was pulled back to it. And so it started out, I did like my first web series. It took off a little faster than I anticipated it would. And from there it was like, let's just do a play. And we kind of learned, it was kind of flying the plane as it was in the air. And we just kind of learned as we went. And here we are a year later, 34 shows later, and about to go on the road with this phenomenal play and do 10 cities.
I love it. I love it. One thing I want to bring out is that right here is a room full of egos. Now, if you know anything about an eagle, first of all, there is no other bird that's more magnificent than the eagle. It's so magnificent. No, not ego. The eagle. The thing about the eagle that I really find amazing is that eagles are so incredible that they make love in the sky, in flight. That's dope. Now, we're not talking about the Mile High Club. We're talking about they mate in the sky and they fall. And then, once everything is completed, they break loose. Think about how powerful and how high they have to fly to make that happen. Not every bird can do that. So if you're an eagle and you were in that type of situation, you can guarantee that you ain't fooling around with a chicken. Because a chicken can't get that high. I'm saying that to bring it around to this. When you get around people that are, like-minded and there's excellence in the room, there's almost nothing that you can't do. And I believe that seed is in our community, like seriously. It's a matter of us just saying, you know what? It might seem like we're falling, but we're falling because we're so high. That's what eagles do. All we got to do now is just spread our wings. Before an eagle takes flight, the mother pushes it out the nest. What you gonna do? So mothers, this is for you. Stop hamstringing your son's wings. I mean, men are designed to do certain things, and sometimes it's taking the front line. When you constrain that energy that a young man has and you don't channel it, you're robbing him of a bit of his masculinity. Now, understand what I said. Constraining is one thing, but when you figure out how to channel it, that's when he'll take that step into the fullness of who he is as a man. So mamas, first of all, don't smother your son, but also don't dampen that fire. Channel the fire. Once you channel the fire, then, there's some great things coming from our young men. Now, ladies, don't think I'm ignoring y'all, because y'all already got everything anyway. I mean, the most educated group is who?
Black women.
The segment of the country that's starting the most businesses are who? So I'm not saying that y'all don't deserve the attention, because you do. I'm saying we got to shift some of that to our young black boys. So we got young, successful women who can partner with young, successful men. They go hand in hand. That's all I'm saying. Let's raise excellent black children. Make our men just as productive as our women, so our family structure will be back in place. All right, now, that's enough of that. I got this one clip I love to play. This is called Being Successful in Marriage. Now, anybody other than you, anybody have been married before? Married now? Okay, I've been married before. Twice. But I know a little bit about marriage. Now, there's this couple. They're just the funniest, cutest little family. Love them. I think they're called the Ellises. The husband's name is DeVal, and I can't think of the wife's name. But they have this like web series of these little episodes that they do, And they're funny as all get out.
You gonna make me burn my
And
bed.
this one is really called The Key to Marriage. So we're going to play this clip. I want y'all to take these notes, first of all. Take these notes. We're going to come back and play this clip. And this is all about keeping your marriage working. So roll that clip. Here we go.
Just drop it for me one time. You gonna make me burn my plantain.
Drop that dun dun dun.
Hey. Now bye. Okay. Drop it. Working me. Yo, K. Drop it.
Drop that dun dun dun.
Drop it. Double time.
Drop that dun dun dun.
This girl taking mad long. K.
What?
Drop it.
Drop that dun dun dun.
Pardon me.
Wait, before you leave, What? Can you drop it? Alright, ready? Drop it, yes. Oh.
Drop that dun dun dun.
Touch it. Yes. Oh. Thank you.
Drop that dun dun dun.
You know, ladies, key to marriage right there, ladies. That's the key. Thank you. If he say drop it, just drop that dun dun dun. Just do it. Just do it. That's the key right there. That's the key. I'm telling y'all. Trust me. You know, if my ex-wife would have dropped it, still be married today. But she refused to drop it. All right, so here we go. Let's do this. First of all, Brother Trey, before we go further, how can people find out more about the play? How can they get tickets? Where's the play going to be?
Awesome. So glad you asked. They can find the play at TreyFloyd.com. That's TREFLOYD.com. TreyFloyd.com. Just click on Stage Plays. The play will be here in Atlanta, February the 7th through the 9th. It's being held at 7 Stages Theater. It's just a shout out to a few of the sponsors. It's being sponsored by Cirque Decker here in Atlanta. Tito's Vodka is actually doing our VIP experience lounge.
Wow.
So you can get tickets to open bar VIP experience with Tito's Vodka Unlimited. Just go on the website, TreyFloyd.com, click on the ticket you want, grab it while they're still available. Don't wait till the last minute. Support our people. Go get your ticket. It will sell out. We've done 13, 20. We've done almost 20 shows here in Atlanta, and all 20 of them sell out. So just know that Trey Productions sell out.
Now listen. Now, first of all, there's this whole thing about networking and that I get to do, and I get to see people grow. Now, last time Trey was on the floor, on the show, it's for a different show.
It's for Love,
different
Sex,
play.
and Marriage.
Yes. So this time, you know, not to say that the other one didn't have the same type of power to it, but this play is showing growth. Because there was no Tito sponsoring.
That's true.
Because I would have been up in the place, you know, with my cup for that Tito. You know. So what we're seeing, though, is the manifestation of walking in your purpose. And when you walk in your purpose, stuff starts coming to you. So let this be a lesson. All it takes is doing what you're designed to do and sticking with it. Again, when I go back to that seed, everything you already got is all you need. You don't need anything from the outside. Everything that you were born to do is already on the inside. I can guarantee you there's at least 1, 2, or 3 talents that you can do naturally very well right now if you just started. Just do that, and then watch people start to pay you for it. Right.
That's what it is.
Boy, I tell you what.
I would say this has been a phenomenal cast, a wonderful group of people to work with. Like, they are very dedicated, always like practice on time, working hard while they're there, knowing their lines. It has been a phenomenal journey, and I cannot wait to present it to everybody. It's going to be phenomenal.
Now, is the cast competitive? No, I know your brothers and sisters. Like, I got brothers and sisters too, but put some Uno cards down. You know, yeah.
For me, I don't feel like we need to be competitive. I mean, Trey wrote such a great play that I feel like we all have our time to really shine in the show. That's my perspective. Now, I don't know what y'all have to say, but everybody he's a balanced writer that everyone has these moments, these really yummy, powerful moments in this play that it's like, ooh, I can't wait to see that part.
Ooh, I can't wait to watch that.
I
can't wait to watch they
I'm
pod.
not doubting that. I do believe it because I've just seen just in 2 short acts that the play is powerful. That ain't what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about, Trey, if you bust out with some spades or dominoes, all that competitive.
So when we get on the road,
Yeah.
that's when all of that comes out.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
When we get on the
Okay.
road, when you take them 10-hour road trips and you're in the hotel,
Yeah.
wait for the next show. This one is very competitive. This one loves to not be wrong. Brian's very nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
This one want to win. We're going to see how this one come out. This is going to be our first road trip with this one, so we're going to see what comes out. But I feel like, yeah, he's definitely going to be
Okay, I thought so. So look at here. I saw this clip of 2 young ladies playing musical chairs.
Oh, gosh.
Now, but it ain't supposed to be. I said it on purpose, supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun specifically for the kids, and I said specifically on purpose. First of all, why they so grown playing musical chairs? But then the second thing is, just when we pull the clip out, I just want you to watch this clip. Well, watch what it burn. We gonna play this clip,
right?
And then we'll talk about it. Go ahead and play this clip. This is our musical chairs. Roll that clip.
Truth is I'm tired, options are few. I'm trying to pray, but where are you? I'm all churched out, hurt and abused.
All I know is, Brother Trey, if you break out musical chairs and that happens,
we gonna go to
I'm gonna
HR.
need a video. I'm gonna need a video. If it's that serious, I'm gonna need a video. If it breaks out like that, I'm gonna need a video. You know, if that happens on the road up in this piece, I'm gonna need a video. Boy, I tell you what. Now, I got 2 more clips to play, and then we'll close the show out. So everybody knows how to follow you. Again, we'll give you information about getting the tickets. I just want to know this question right here now. Ladies, well, everybody, do y'all like strippers? Thank you for being honest. I mean, just like, boom. Just strippers. Look.
No, do y'all see those games? This is something funny, okay? Games on Facebook, and they ask you to play. So I did mine, and it was like, what was really your job you supposed to be? And it was a stripper. And we had a Christmas party at somebody's house in this room, and that was my listen. So I mean, hey, everybody has something. Don't judge me, people. Everybody has something.
Well,
I don't have a problem.
Thank you so much for your candor. But this gentleman right here is showing y'all how a stripper is really, and I said stripper on purpose, how a stripper is really supposed to work that thing out. Now, first of all, it was a little bachelorette party or something by the pool, and old boy he put his thug thizzle in it. So, you know, we gonna play this clip. I want y'all to watch it at the end, though. That's when he really goes all in. So roll that clip. We'll come back and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Go ahead with it. Oh!
off Campbellton Road. That's right off Campbellton Road, from other country. That's right round the way. Boy, I tell you what. Man, listen. Y'all listen. Now look, I need y'all to understand. I don't know where he from, but whatsoever he from, he can stay with them moves, doing what because he got paid. I'm telling you, he got paid. Man, look. I got this one last clip, and then we'll close the show out. This one last clip. This is one that I just thought was absolutely hilarious. I have been posting what we ain't doing in 2020. But I've been posting telling women what we ain't doing in 2020. Like somebody said, the man to date me for a year before I decide he my boyfriend. And I said, ladies, we're not doing that in 2020. So somebody sent me this clip saying, ain't no flirting in 2020. We gonna play this clip, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. Go ahead and roll that clip. That's all he could do. That's all he could do. She gave him his responsibilities, and flirting was done in 2020. I ain't mad at you, lady. I ain't mad at you. So listen, this has been a whole lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. I appreciate all of you coming out. My pleasure. So, Sylvia, if someone wanted to reach you or contact you for booking or singing at a wedding, because I know that voice is angelic, how would somebody follow you on social media?
On Facebook, I have 2 pages. One is Sylvia Camille Pierce, and the artist page is Sylvia Camille. On Instagram, my Instagram handle is Sylvia_Camille.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Awesome. And if you are trying to reach Candy News, that's CandyNews or Z. You can reach me on any social media. Candy News Productions.
Thank you. Welcome to. Thank you for coming out to the show.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
And I am Kristen Ivy, CHRIS10 IVY.
All right. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
I am Philly World, PHYLLEWORLD. Everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, wherever.
Excellent. Thank you for coming out.
So on Instagram, I'm _Pretty Rico, REKIO. And then on Facebook, on Facebook is Rico, REKIO, Thick Pen, THIGPEN, Holland.
Thank you so much for coming out, sir.
On Facebook, I'm Brian Dwayne. Instagram, you can reach me at b.dwaye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate it.
On Instagram, you can find me at Tyler.Isaiah. That's ISAIAH.BEY. Tyler.Isaiah Bay.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Brother Trey.
And I am Trey Floyd. You can find me on all platforms. TRE Floyd. That's Trey Floyd on Facebook. On Instagram is Trey_Floyd3. And for the production is Trey Floyd Productions. You can follow that on Instagram, on Facebook as well. And for play tickets, it's TreyFloyd.com, TREFloyd.com. Just click on Stage Plays. Go ahead and grab your ticket before they are gone. We would love to see each and every one of you out there. And we want to thank you for having us here. We really appreciate it.
All right, my pleasure. My pleasure. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Before we close out, Brother Trey, this is play number what? 3, 4?
This is that I produced. This is 4 that I've written. This is 3.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. What's coming next?
Upcoming next week we drop Me and the Mister. It's a web series about relationships. It's Asian Emmanuel Dudley. They've been married for 20 years, giving relationship advice. Everybody, you just get girl, you might catch her wife number 3. They're giving relationship advice. That's coming up, and then afterwards we premiere here in February, and then we go on the road. Starting in March, and we'll be touring all the way to May. We're going to, so for everybody out there, if you can't make it to Atlanta, we'll be in D.C., Baltimore, Chattanooga, Savannah, Columbia, Memphis, St. Louis, Chicago. So if you can't catch us here, make sure you catch us on the road.
Good deal, good deal. As I said earlier, you know, this is progress. This is growth. And what you expect to see when you are walking in your purpose is growth. And that's what you get. It's virtually impossible not to keep trying something. To keep trying something and not get better at it, because you learn along the way. So I'm going to give this piece of advice to everybody before we close the show up. There are no mistakes. There are only lessons. There are no mistakes. There are only lessons. Nobody has ever wasted your time. I don't care about the relationship or none of that stuff. Nobody has ever wasted your time, and nobody ever will waste your time if you grasp the concept of learning what to do or what not to do from every one of your relationships. No one will ever waste your time. If you're in a perpetual state of learning, you will continue to grow. It's only when we decide to make love to our hurt or get married to our pain that we stop growing. Listen, this has been a lot of fun. We do this every Thursday from 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. right here on Manifest TV. I'm going to need you to follow us at status.network or Status Network LLC or statusnetwork.tv. I think I got that one wrong. It's statusnetwork.net. You can do the hashtag Status Network all over social media. You can do Manifest TV with the hashtag all over social media, and you will find us. Make sure you like, follow, and share. I am Talk with Jeffery, Jeffery, all over social media, everywhere except for Snapchat. I'm not snapping. I'm not chatting. I'm too old for that. Okay? I love it. I love it. I've had a whole lot of fun. Looking forward to the play. Looking forward to next week. Next week, we're going to be in studio working out. Hour number 2, we're actually going to be in the studio with some trainers, and we'll be working it out. So make sure you got your sweats on and everything, because we getting it in. A full hour workout session right here next week. This has been a whole lot of fun. All right. With that said, I am out. All right. Good deal.
So now, you know.
Now that you know about Jeffery, and let's talk about it live, come be a part of our family.
You know we had to give y'all homework, right?
Keep up with the show. Follow us on all of our social media platforms.
That's Facebook and Instagram.
Would you like to listen to the show on the go? Make sure you download the Status Network app on your Google or Apple Play Store.
Want to talk to Jeffery?
Dial 470-251-4647. We thank you for listening. And make sure you're back here every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Let's Talk About It Live with Jeffery L. Miller.
Status Network.